Another volcanic eruption has taken place in Iceland, and this time directly in the municipality of Grindavik. How bad is the situation, and is the place now lost forever? We take a look at the latest developments in this video. So be sure to stay tuned until the end. And if you find it informative, I'd be galactically pleased to get a thumbs up and a comment so that the algorithm can show this important topic to even more people. Thank you, friends, and welcome. The situation has been really dramatic for weeks. After speculation for a long time about a possible eruption in the southwest of Iceland near the municipality of Grindavik, the eruption occurred on the 19th of December, opening a large fissure from which lava really came out in a spectacular way, as you can see here. However, it was a stroke of luck that this fissure did not open up directly in Grindavik, but in the Sundjuka crater outside the inhabited area. For the inhabitants, this was a bit of a relief because it could have meant that the pressure had now been released, the community was safe, and the inhabitants could return to their homes. Grindavik had been completely evacuated due to the imminent danger. In the weeks following the eruption in December, residents were allowed to return to their homes for a short time, but only a few dozen people actually did so. The fear of another eruption and the associated dangers was naturally too great. Very understandable, because how can you carry on with your everyday life if you are constantly afraid of another outbreak? And this fear turned out to be absolutely justified, because unfortunately that wasn't the end of the story. This weekend there was another eruption, and this time, unfortunately, it was within the community. The eruption started at 8 o'clock on Sunday, and take a look at this incredible shot. We can see the lava flowing towards the town center. Just looking at the picture is really scary, I think. In this footage from the Icelandic radio station RÚV, we can see lava gushing out of an elongated crack in the earth. And as with the first eruption, another volcanic fissure has formed. This is how Iceland's Magnus Tumi Gudmundsson assesses the situation. The fissure is about 1 kilometer long. It is unclear whether it has already reached its full size. If the eruption continues at a similar rate, it will only take hours for lava to reach the first houses. In the meantime, a second fissure has already formed, from which large quantities of lava are also flowing. It is relatively likely that further fissures will open from which lava will flow. A few hours before the eruption, as with the first volcanic eruption, a whole series of smaller earthquakes were measured. The most violent of these had a magnitude of 3.5 on the Richter scale. The Icelandic Meteorological Authority issued a direct warning that magma was in motion beneath the Earth's surface, and that the probability of an eruption was therefore very high. Accordingly, even the few inhabitants who had returned had already been evacuated again. So far, the Icelandic authorities assume that no one has been harmed. However, a tragedy had already occurred in the days before. According to media reports, a worker fell into one of the volcanic fissures, and the search for him has since been suspended without him being found. The fissure he fell into was 20 meters deep, incredibly dramatic. He was part of a team that had been working on protective measures, as structures and ramparts had been built around the community of Grindavik to stop the lava in the event of another eruption. But this work has not yet been completed, and of course it cannot be continued due to the current eruption. Volcanoes are omnipresent in Iceland. Let me briefly explain how volcanism occurs in Iceland, the land of ice and fire. A rather unique mix of factors come together in Iceland, which is located on the mid-Atlantic ridge, one of the most remarkable geological boundaries on the entire planet. This massive undersea mountain range stretches across the Atlantic Ocean and serves as a boundary between the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates. And it is at this intersection of the two giant tectonic plates that Iceland was formed, and regularly experiences the forces of the Earth's crust. This happens because the movement of these tectonic plates creates space for magma to rise from the Earth's mantle to the surface. This rising magma forms the basis for the formation of volcanoes, and another decisive factor for volcanism in Iceland is the presence of a so-called mantle plume or hotspot. A mantle plume is a rising flow of hot rock from the Earth's interior that rises beneath the Earth's crust and then leads to volcanic activity. The hot spot beneath Iceland, aptly named the Iceland plume, amplifies the already existing geological activity and leads to a multitude of volcanoes. This combination of influences protects Iceland from breaking apart so that it does not consist of several fragmented islands, but the downside is that eruptions occur regularly. Because of these ideal conditions, there is also an immense variety of volcanoes. We find stratovolcanoes, shield volcanoes, and central volcanoes. Layered volcanoes are the classic cone-shaped volcanoes with a central opening from which lava and ash emerge. Shield volcanoes, on the other hand, are flatter and wider and tend to erupt less explosively. And central volcanoes are smaller, centrally located volcanoes that are often associated with glaciers. Volcanoes are therefore an inseparable part of Iceland, and Icelanders have learned to deal with the risks of volcanism and have even found innovative ways to convert this natural resource into energy, for example, by using geothermal energy. But right now, we are experiencing the other side of the coin. As fascinating and beautiful as this volcanic landscape is, it can also be very destructive. What happens next is still completely uncertain. Icelandic meteorologist Benedikt Ofiksson says, "This eruption is completely different from the one on December 18th. We thought the situation would calm down, but in the last few hours, the lava flow has suddenly picked up speed considerably. That took us completely by surprise. As if all this were not dramatic enough, there are signs of another volcanic eruption. Following an unusually strong earthquake near the Grímsvötn volcano in the south of Iceland, geologists and volcanologists have discovered signs that things could soon go haywire here too. The civil protection authorities there have already declared a first warning level after large quantities of glacier water flowed into the valley. The combination of glacier water, or glacier ice and lava, is particularly explosive. Grímsvötn is one of Iceland's most active volcanoes, whose eruptions are known for their kilometer-high columns of ash. During the last major eruption in the year 2011, a column of ash 19 kilometers high was created, which severely disrupted air traffic over northern Europe and even closed several airports in Germany. A bit like the eruption of the virtually unpronounceable volcano, Eyjafjallajökull. I will keep you up to date with further developments and will be in Iceland myself in March and will report back for you from there. If you don't want to miss it, I would be galactically happy if you subscribe to my channel now, if you haven't already done so. I know from the statistics that over half of the viewers haven't subscribed at all, but it's absolutely free. You'll never miss a galactic video again, so people all hit the subscribe button. Thank you very, very much. And I have another trip coming up next week, to Italy, to the Phlegraean Fields. The supervolcano near Naples is bubbling over and the authorities have already thought about evacuation plans. I will travel there next week and produce a 90-minute documentary for you and clarify with experts on site how high the danger of a supervolcano eruption is. I've started a crowdfunding campaign that you can take part in. Equipment for a documentary like this is not cheap, and I would be delighted if you could take part. You'll get great rewards in return, including every supporter being named in the credits of the documentary. The top supporters will be mentioned by name in the video at the end. Of course, all supporters will also see the documentary in advance. So everyone, make sure you get involved so that we can get this documentary on this important topic off the ground. We are currently seeing how acute the issue of volcanic eruptions is. You can find the link here or in the pinned comment. And it's good timing because a secret document has just emerged that shows that the danger of an eruption is much greater than we thought. You can find out all about it in the video below. Be sure to watch it. It's very exciting. And don't forget to click on the link below and become part of the super volcano documentary. Otherwise, I'd say see you in the next video. Take care, guys.